What are you doing here? Just going over some of the wacky news stories from the week and then doing some dark and darker in a little bit. So just shooting the shit and then grinding. There's a local investigation going on where I live about a woman who put wild poisonous mushrooms in food she made and killed 3 people. Interesting you bring that up. We actually just talked about this at length on the podcast. This is a really interesting, deep rabbit hole. So the mushrooms she fed them are apparently called death cap mushrooms. So not exactly something that you would think would make a good dish. It's fucking called the death cap mushrooms. At least last time I looked it up. I don't know if they're going to address them as such in this article. You're using like their scientific name. No, it's really deep. So they had, let me see if I remember it. I can just read through the story in a moment. But going off memory, they were having a dinner and they had a bunch of people over. It was her, her in-laws, I believe, and then a priest, I think. I don't remember. It was someone else. And of that, she served them death cap mushrooms to some of them and then some not. And everyone who died was not her family. It was like her in-laws and then the other person. So it seems like it was an assassination and not an accident. At least that's the theory. Because it's very odd that certain people were served certain things and they died, whereas other people were not served those things and they didn't die. Yeah, it was her mother and father-in-law. After she had served them the death caps. She said that on the day of the lunch, she prepared a meal of beef Wellington for herself and her 4 elderly guests. Contrary to initial reports from the police, who said Patterson's children were present but did not eat the meal, Patterson said the children had actually gone to the movies prior to lunch. Oh, that's new information. According to her statement, Miss Patterson served the meal and allowed the guests to choose their own plates. She then took the last plate and ate a serve of the beef Wellington herself. Miss Patterson said the mushrooms were a mixture of button mushrooms purchased at a supermarket and dried mushrooms bought at an Asian grocery store in Melbourne. The Patterson children ate the leftovers from lunch the following night. However, Miss Patterson said the children do not like mushrooms, so she scraped them off the meal. Yeah, I mean, it could all just be a complete accident, and she's just really stupid. Or it could be a calculated murder plot. The investigation will tell us. Fucking crazy situation, though. I see the car chase in DC this past weekend, where a guy stole a truck and crashed it, then stole an ambulance that came to help him and the people he crashed into. Holy shit, no, I didn't see that at all. No, I haven't seen the new Gundam anime yet. What would be the motive? I don't know, maybe she just really didn't like her in-laws and her sister. I don't know. I'm not on the investigative force. When we were talking about this on the podcast a few days ago, the information about the kids not being there wasn't released yet. So it seemed like she had picked and chose who ate what. But yeah, I guess it could just be a big accident. You called her stupid, though? No, and I'll stand by that. If you're serving death cap mushrooms, you're pretty stupid. Like, I feel like that's not a mistake that's easy to make. No, the investigation's ongoing. This is like a brand new story. There's so many layers to it. A lot more information has come out over the last couple days since we talked about it. So I'll have to catch up here on all the lore. You gonna see Blue Beetle this weekend? Yeah, I'll see it. I'm not expecting too much, but I'll see it. I'd like to be pleasantly surprised, but DC has not really been hitting recently. Welcome aboard, Lawrence. Thanks for the 5, Emma. Did you see the Hawaii fires? Yeah, man. What I've been really blown away by, though, is the space laser conspiracy surrounding the fires. That shit has captivated me. We have entered the golden era of nonsense. It never happened, Chop. We'd never win. Welcome aboard, Celeste. They're only giving $700 per homeowner to victims of the Maui fires? That seems awfully low. Oh, God, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Alex. Good Lord. Thank you for the generosity, man. When you playing Ready or Not? Not sure. Up to the squad. Welcome aboard, Cthulhu. Have you ever seen a rocket launch? I've seen videos of a rocket launch. I've never seen one in person, though. I went to some kind of rocket museum once when I was a kid, but that's the closest I've ever been. Can you elaborate on the space laser conspiracy? I wouldn't even do it justice. It's such a beautiful disaster of gobbledygook, but I'll do my best. It started pretty soon after the fires. There was a post that popped off claiming that it's really weird that the trees didn't burn. Like, the trees give away the true intention. It's not a real fire, because how could the trees not burn? They refused to accept that, trees can hold water, but they were using it as evidence that something fishy is afoot. And they started to say it's because of the 15-minute city agenda. And branching off from the 15-minute city agenda, we eventually landed at space lasers, to the point where someone, I can't remember who, but a big account started circulating a picture of a building on fire with a with a fucking Death Star beam blasting it. And people were like, finally! I knew it! I knew it! The government's blasting lasers at all of this property in Maui in order to push through the 15-minute city agenda. And from there, it's only continued to snowball. It's a wild conspiracy. It's so goofy. Oh, sweet. Well, thank you, Nate. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, we'd love to do a 5v5 against AMP. That'd be great. Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of wacky conspiracies, man. I keep my finger on the pulse of every developing conspiracy that comes out. And Oprah is tied to this theory somehow. Well, every celebrity that has property anywhere within like 100,000 miles of the fires is being put on the chopping block. Like Peculiar. Their property didn't burn over 60,000 miles away. Thanks to Bits Alley. Go to Cape Canaveral and watch the rocket launches. Yeah, maybe at some point. It's always sounded cool, I just never have. And thanks for the long time of watching then, Gwen.